Good spring morning, finally. Excuse me. Spring has sprung. We had a total eclipse last week. Beyonce released a new album, and Taylor Swift's new offering drops on Friday. Closer to home, Linda Pettit, a good friend of mine, released her first book at age 71, Leaning into Curves, Trusting the Wild, Intuitive Way of Love. So exciting. Speaking of spring and memories, late yesterday afternoon, Mike and I went to Holland. After a very good dinner downtown, we walked the main drag along with dozens of others, reveling in the warmth and rejoicing in the sun. Even us slightly older ones in the crowd were touched by the feeling of newness and looked and felt younger than we did even last week. People walked unhurriedly, traffic moved slowly, car windows were down, and shop doors were open. From a distance down the street, the unmistakable to me melody and lyrics of Leaving on a Jet Plane, the Peter, Paul, and Mary cover, reached me. I stopped and muttered, "Oh no, oh boy," and then I was carried away by a wave of unexpectedly strong emotion. I started crying right in front of Kilwins and everyone. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me that like you'll never let me go. Like all families, mine had its own internal language and idiosyncrasies and humor. My mom and I were, to quote Rory Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls, freakishly linked. If you know, you know. Also, she had a prankster's heart. For reasons too drear to go into here, I was an insecure child. Despite knowing for sure that she loved me, I always feared that I'd be left alone. It came to my family's attention that whenever this particular song came on the radio or stereo, little 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old me would cry inconsolably. So then my mom and my sisters took it upon themselves to sing that verse to me so that I would cry. Eventually, it just became a family story that would make all of us, even me, laugh. And one of those many threads that blend into the quilt of a life that we wrap around ourselves when we need comfort. That's what that became. It's been a long time since I cried over that tune. It usually elicits a kind of a wistful, nostalgic smile. It's interesting, isn't it? Some 50 years later, on a fresh spring day full of promises, I find that the little girl is right there under the surface, needing the hug and laughter but this time didn't come from my mom on this day, but from my husband, my partner, my love. There was a moment of a shiver, like when in a Scooby-Doo cartoon they had a flashback sequence. And just for a moment, the me in her touched the her in me before we blended again and folded into Mike's embrace. And then he did something that he does best, something that my mom could also easily do, make me belly laugh, even as the tears were still drying on my cheeks. And then we went and had some ice cream.